amazing terrain can absolutely transform your experience playing Warhammer 40k. Nobody wants to play on cardboard cutouts, broken pink hills, pieces of paper, when you have amazing 3D printed terrain from Terrainify at your disposal. This beautiful terrain comes fully built and painted in one of 22 different camo settings. You can also get it unpainted so you can make it your own hobby project, as well as just the printed STL files, so that way you can print them at home yourself. Terrainify has so many different kinds of boards. They have different themes for whatever kind of battle you could possibly want to create. We've used Terrainify in our games to play very functional, high-level competitive Warhammer. This terrain is both beautiful, fun to play with, and very user-friendly. Terrainify is on a mission to elevate the quality of terrain that people play with worldwide. If you want to play on better terrain, you can support them directly on Patreon for just $3 a month. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Terrainify.com, use discount code ArtofWar25 for 25% off your order, and start creating the boards you've always wanted to play on.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Art of War live stream. Happy Thursday, everyone. If you've been following us for a while, you know that Thursday means exactly one thing.
We're gonna fix some lists.
It's fixin' time.
It's fixin' time. Time to fix.
All right.
I'm a fixin' for a fixin'.
I literally made that joke right before the cameras went live, and you're a hopeless meme stealer.
What?
All right.
You certainly did not.
We are here.
You just didn't. Like, you're just lying to the people.
I just did. So we are here to talk about the list that we're going to fix today, and perhaps you haven't figured out what we're doing here. So let me tell you. If this is your first time, we are here, this is me and Jack, to fix lists. All we're going to be doing is taking lists that are submitted by some of our wonderful users, and we're gonna fix them. If you perhaps want to submit your own list for Fix My List, the best way to do it is to get in the Art of War Discord and just put it in the Fix My List section. But to do that, you're going to want to become a member of this YouTube channel. So click the like button on your way down there, but go become a member of this YouTube channel. Share, subscribe. You can even go to our website, theartofwar40k.com, and become a member of the War Room. That's where you can get high-level tactical training from experts like myself, Jack, Richard Siegler, Nick Donavati, and many, many more. And that's how you get into the Discord. And it's a wonderful global community where you can interact with the community and submit your lists to get fixed.
Speaking of lists that need to get fixed.
Oh, I spy one right now.
Oh, wow. What is that? That's a list.
It's a list.
It sure is a...
Oh, this list needs fixing for sure.
Yeah, it's Death Guard. Death Guard with Nurgle Demons, which, you know, doesn't make it worse. They include Nurgle Demons, for sure.
Yeah, I don't mind that part of it. We actually had a little bit of feedback from Votann. He basically says that, you know what, I'm taking more Terran and Engraved and Clean one, and that may mean the list is more likely to need fixing, but he loves them. And I respect that, because big chunky models is honestly my favorite thing about Chaos. Whenever I can get him, really.
Pretty great.
Yeah, like the only thing better than like big chunky Chaos models is like big spindly Chaos models, in my mind.
Yeah.
Like Vashtor, the Archafale, the Archafane.
Archafane, sorry, not Fail, Fane.
Yeah, it's there. Oh, sad comments in the chat. Oh, reconnection successful. Sweet. All right. Are we back? Oh, we're back? Hold on. What is it? Nerdlings?
Don't call it a comeback. Jeez.
Right, let's see if that's sent. All right. Well, I think we just came back from a little bit of a nurgling glitch.
I can check. Yeah, it looks like all of the the internet in the house went
Went kaput.
Went down for a second.
Yeah. Let us know how live we are. And check and see if anyone is saying anything in the chat, because I'm not getting any chat. I feel like people usually let us know in the chat.
Yeah, we.
Good. All right, we're back.
Close it up in the chat again.
All right,
but we are back.
Closing and opening the chat.
We insulted Vashtor, so he took his revenge.
Yeah, literally right after I made the joke about Vashtor was when the internet decided it wasn't in the mood.
The Archafane.
The Archafane, the only name that we will call him from now on. Oh my god. Yikes. Point taken. Stream freeze. All right, well we're back. So let's go over this Death Guard list.
Let's learn what Poxmongers do. So
Yes.
they're the Demon Engine one.
Mm-hmm.
1 CP in your shooting phase. Models in the unit can make attacks with blast. You pick a Demon Engine unit, and they can make attacks with blast weapons into engagement range, and then you get +1 to hit against things in engagement range.
Dare I ask if it's in their own engagement range or other engagement ranges?
No, it's your own.
Okay.
You're not allowed to shoot in other engagement ranges. And then the relic is you pick a Demon Engine unit, and they get a 4-up invulnerable save every command phase.
Oh, that's cool. Is that the Ironclaw Furnace?
It is.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. Let's read the list then.
Let's do
So
it.
we have a Malignant Plague Caster with the Miasma of Pestilence, Putrescent Vitality. Those are the 2 spells. And the Ironclaw Furnace, which Jack just described, gives a 4-up invulnerable Demon Engine. That part I don't hate. For troops, we've got 2 5-man Plague Marines. I mean, I like the Ironclaw Furnace. That's kind of cool.
No, it seems pretty good.
So Plague Marines. They've got all the free weapons that I'm sure are good. Yep. Then 5 Possessed are. I hate that I'm about to ask this. Do they use the new or old Possessed profile?
Why would they use anything other than what's printed in their codex?
Right. A Hellbrute with a Power Scourge and Twin Las Cannon. Expect.
I will double check that. But
2
yes.
Myphitic Blight Haulers, 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, a singular Rhino. Then we've got Mortarion the Warlord. Love that. And then we've got a Nurgle Patrol of a Great Unclean One and 10 Plague Bearers. That Great Unclean One has a Bile Blade, Bile Sword. Oh, that's kind of cool. Dual wielding. Nurgle's Rot, Revoltingly Pestilent, Shriveling Pox, and the Endless Gift. Oops. Okay. Warp Apollo's already looked it up.
They're just bad compared to regular Possessed. They move 7. They have 2 wounds.
But they're disgusting.
They don't get a champion. Yeah, they do get -1 damage, but they're also strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage, plague weapons with 4 attack instead of 5.
I cannot think of a situation where -1 damage is better than a 3rd wound.
Yeah, there isn't one.
Oh, that's why. God.
It would be if you put like Feel No Pain on them, which is the thing you cannot do.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and also their weapons are 1 damage instead of 2, and they have 1 fewer attack.
They're 1 damage in combat.
They're plague weapons, but still, that's not better. So they're 1 fewer attack, 1 fewer wound, 2 fewer movement, no champion, 1 fewer damage.
Say no more. Say no more. All right. You've actually said too much already. So this list, it's basically trying to give 2 big thickums, which I respect. And then does the Ironclaw Furnace work on a unit or a Demon Engine model?
Unit.
So, like, a 3-man Myphitic Blight Hauler with a forfeit is, like, actually kind of cute.
Can they go up to 3? I thought they, like, capped at 2.
Oh, man, I honestly just assumed that 3 because 2-man units are weird.
2-man units are
They definitely used to come in units of 3. I'll admit I haven't seen the old-fashioned...
They come 1 to 3.
Excellent.
I think this is the kind of place where you just take a 3-man and put all the buffs on it.
Yeah. So first up, Poxmongers. I think we stay on Poxmongers just because that's kind of the direction that they're going. What other play companies do you think that we might consider?
I mean, Ferryman's always fine.
Ferryman's always fine, but because that's the one with the better range on an aura, which isn't really necessary unless you have things that you're trying to charge deter. Mortarion is kind of a charge deterrent on his own merits anyway.
Yeah, you don't need to be Mortarion's Anvil because you have Gloaming Bloat to turn off rerolls within 12 or within contagion range.
What is the one that does the +1 AP for shooting at people in a
Ferric Blight?
Ferric
that
Blight.
one is
who does that?
I'm gonna say Inexorable does that. Let me check.
It does sound inexorable.
It does, doesn't it?
Like when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember these memories from 2 years ago when I had to do homework on Death Guard. So my thought process here is that I think I'm okay actually sticking on Poxmongers and leaning into the durability aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I think the Inexorable would be the other one I'd consider just for a little bit better shooting.
I would take more Demon Engines, honestly.
Agreed.
The question is, why isn't Mammon in here?
You make some great points. I think.
Yeah.
You want to give the pitch?
Let's do Mammon. He gives them all reroll ones to hit. They already have reroll ones to wound. They have decent shooting, not amazing, but decent. And then that's pretty good. That's pretty good. This was originally formatted in Nephilim format, basically. So it was I transitioned it over to an Arcs of Omen detachment, but it was a patrol, a super heavy Ox, and a patrol of Nurgle demons. So that's why we have like 2 of this and 1 of that and 2 of this. It's because it was formatted as a patrol.
And just so that we're clear, Mammon is Mammon transfigured, and he is a Forge World Demon Prince of Nurgle.
Yep.
Who has been updated to actually get Daemonic saves instead of a 5-up invuln, so he's now fully book legal and compatible with Chaos Demons. And he is a 6-inch aura of reroll 1s to hit for Nurgle demons.
Yep, which
not
Nurgle
core,
demon engines are.
not Legions Demonica. If you have the Nurgle keyword and the demon keyword, you reroll 1s.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Funny enough, even Mortarion would get reroll 1s off that.
You really would.
If he didn't chapter master himself. For some
Every
reason.
time, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he'll chapter master someone else.
So, units that I think are good. I like Plague Burst Crawlers, like legitimately.
They are legitimately just good for their points. They shoot very respectably. They are way tougher than they should be for 145. I'm all on board the demon engine list here.
Yeah. And then so what I want to take here is I want to take triple Plague Burst Crawler and a unit of 3 Myphitic Blade Haulers.
Fully agree.
You make them a unit also, so you can use the strat, and then incoming shots are -1 shot. So multi-meltas are 1 shot now.
I forgot that existed.
Yeah.
Is that 1 CP?
I think it's 2. But
Still,
I will
when you're
double-check.
getting hit by the multi-meltas,
When you're getting helped by multi-meltas...
that is the most hilarious, because no one even remembers that exists.
Yeah, and you're just like, no, you did not do damage to me, thank you for asking.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of gross.
The Gladiator Lancers fire 1 shot.
Oh, God, a Gladiator
yes,
Reaper
this
only
list-
puts out...
Thank you for asking. This list is not currently legal because it doesn't have 3 of anything. So that is
Right.
one thing that we are going to fix.
We will take care of
It was
that.
formatted. That's partly why I said it was formatted as double patrol and a super heavy Ox. So that's no longer a thing you need to worry about. So Velonis, you now work with an Arcs of Omen detachment. So yeah.
So if we're putting Mammon in, we almost certainly have to cut the Great and Clean one to get power level and points working. I think if we're taking Mortarion, we want to preserve Contagions.
Yeah.
Because there is an argument here that you are allowed to just take a patrol of demons with Death Guard, and if you are 25% of your power level or less as demons, they gain Agent of Chaos. But if you don't do that, you're just demons and Death Guard, and then you don't get Contagions, but you do get Death Guard secondaries, because that's just based on your Arc Zone attachment. So you could trade access to Contagions for more than 25% of demons, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't particularly want to.
I don't think we need to here. I think if you're taking Mortarion, and to be fair, I am going to argue for the inclusion of Mortarion, because you know what? I honestly think Mortarion's pretty good. He is still a complete bear to kill, and putting him in reserves when you need to is no longer the 3 CP adventure that it was. Yeah, it's no longer like, oh no, I wanted relics and to not go second against hammerheads. Guess I have to choose in list building which one I get. Yeah, at least Mortarion can arrive on turn 2 or 3, 9 away, try to hit a charge, and then have all your stuff push out at the same time, so it's a bit of a threat overload. At which point Mortarion does take an extremely long time to kill.
Yeah, and if you're shooting them with Plague Burst Crawlers, Myphitic Blade Haulers, and
Yeah.
trying to hold objectives with Plague Bearers, it can get kind of annoying.
It can get a little bit annoying.
So the Belching Fumes, which is the -1 incoming shots on every weapon that fires at you, which is
Hilarious.
super good.
Yeah.
Especially right now with multi-meltas everywhere. Is 1 CP if it's 2 or fewer models in the unit, 2 if it's 3. I still think you want 3.
Yeah, I'm still willing to expense that. Okay, so as far as direction goes then, I think we basically want to replace the Great and Clean one with Mammon. Are you on board the Keep Mortarion train, or you want him gone for more
I'm
entries?
on board with the Keep Mortarion, Keep Grand and Clean one if we can. I think there's enough points in here to fiddle around with and come out the other end with something decent. But it is definitely hey, everything steps out all at the same time.
Is there a way to... What's the power level of a Great and Clean one plus Mammon plus Plague Bears? Because I'm just really... I didn't do the math. I just did the points math and assumed the power level wasn't going to work. Maybe there's a critical mass of 6-man Plague Marines we can take, but to really mess up the power level, but I'm just assuming it doesn't work.
I will look it up.
If you want, I can pull it up on the big screen.
That's probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mammon is 7 power level.
Are you looking at... Okay, cool.
Yep. Great Unclean one is 15, so that's 22.
Okay. Plague Bears is probably 7.
And then Plague Bears is 7, so 29.
Okay,
So that's not actually that bad. 29 times 3 is 87. So the rest of the list needs to be 87 power level.
right. Let's just get this. Where is the power level thing?
I hate power level. Can I just go out on a limb here and say that
There's no longer a downloadable power level update.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's so weird.
Doesn't look like it anyway.
I honestly haven't had to check this in a while.
I don't know why they do power level as meaning anything, because every time it comes up, it's like just a needless headache.
Dare I ask? No, it doesn't list power level.
No, it does not list power level on the points update.
All right, bet.
Because power level never changes.
But it has in the past.
Has it?
It has. They have at one point published a Munitorm Field Guide-esque document that is literally just this is power level now.
Then why not just
use
use points? Why use power level at all in that case?
Well, let's check what the power level is of the Death Guard part that we have so far. So what we're looking at here is we're gonna have the the Malignant Plaguecaster staying in.
Right. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'll man the calculator.
We need 87.
Yep. All this to find out if we can keep this Great and Clean one.
Or we could just cut it and nobody will know the difference, right?
It's very possible that we just cut it and no one knows the difference.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's over, actually. No, I'll check.
Yeah, heck yeah.
The Plaguecaster. 5.
Okay.
Plague Marines. 6.
And 12 if we do a 6-man?
Yeah.
That's important to know.
Yeah.
But so far it's 12 because we just 2 5-mans. I think the Possessed and the Halberd aren't making it out the other side.
Yeah, no, they're exiting post haste.
Cool, so we're not going to count them. 3-man Myphitic Blightholler. The power level adventures of Fix My List are by far the best and worst.
No, this is definitely. I am so sorry. It is 7, but if it includes 3 models, it's 21.
Cool.
Yeah, each one is 7.
Okay. Plagueburst Crawlers.
Glad you asked. Plagueburst Crawler is 8.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. We know there's going to be 3. How much is Mortarion?
Isn't that the...
I think Death Guard were so expensive on release that the power level is actually going to work out for us to have a Mammon and the Great and Clean one.
25. It works out exactly.
And that's without the Rhino either.
It's not the Rhino. That works out exactly. That's 87 on the nose, which is exactly what we need.
Okay. So it sounds like we are going to be able to make the power level of this work actually to keep the Great and Clean one as long as the points work.
Yes.
Okay.
So that I think those 10 Plague Marines become 6 Plague Marines in one unit.
Yeah, probably. So let's get the points. Was this 2,000 on the dot?
Yes.
Okay. So we're at 2,000 on the dot. We know that the Possessed are gone, right?
Right. They're dead.
Okay, the Possessed are gone. And then we're gonna go down the Halberd as well.
Yep.
So it's minus 115. At the moment, we might cut that Rhino, but we might not. Let's add a Plagueburst Crawler in. That's 145. We know we wanted that. I'm gonna cut the Rhino because we hadn't included it yet. And now how many points is a Mammon Transfigure?
I believe he's 130.
Okay. If that is the case, we'd be at 1960 with heavy support as our mandatory slot, getting filled by the wonderful Plagueburst Crawlers.
Yes. We have not included the 3rd Myphitic Blightholler.
Oh, that's true.
And I
that's
think
105.
that's 110.
That's fair, yeah.
I think what that is we cut the 2 squads of 5 Plague Marines down to 1 squad of 6, and I think it fits.
That would fit, yeah. So each Plague Marine is 19 points?
Yep.
So it'd be minus 95 plus 19. That would be 1994.
Okay. Well, that does sound good.
So what that basically does is gets us 3 more big bodies in Mammon, another Plagueburst Crawler, another Myphitic Blightholler. But we've cut the Rhino, the Hellbrute, the Possessed, and a couple Plague Marines.
Yes. Just to confirm, Mammon is 130.
Okay. So that works right there. Now that we have determined that we can, in fact, keep the Great and Clean one if we want to. Follow-up question.
Should we?
Do we want to?
Do we want to? So what he would turn into is probably 10 more Plague Bearers, maybe even 20 more Plague Bearers, to be honest with you. Just something to hold space.
Yeah.
And I'll be 100% honest, that sounds better.
What is Revoltingly Resilient? Is that like
minus 1 damage in combat? He is toughness 9. He has 22 wounds. That does not go as far as it sounds like it will.
Yeah. He's not minus 1 damage.
Not in shooting.
So
And the endless gift gives him wounds
unfortunately-
back, but that's about it.
That means that the Great Unclean One is simultaneously a thing that can be shot anywhere, and the one big thing that isn't -1 damage.
He has to be deep struck, and then he comes in turn 2, probably doesn't do anything, and forces your opponent to
Death
deal with
Guard is too old to have a Warp Locus.
it. Yes. Now, what you could do is deep strike the Grand Clean One and Mortarion right in your opponent's face at the same time all your demon engines come out. That's fine.
Does
Not
Mortarion
great.
just outflank?
What's up?
He just strategic reserves, right? He doesn't deep strike.
Probably. Yeah.
No, I know Mortarion doesn't free reserves because
Oh yeah. If he
would have been
doesn't
doing that.
if he doesn't free reserves, then yeah, definitely not.
I mean he frees strategic reserves. He doesn't free deep strike.
Yeah. So he free strat reserves the Great Unclean. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound great. Versus just having more stuff.
Look,
This list is a little light.
You know,
on
I'm a bit of a
things.
stuff guy. Because I'm thinking that with essentially we have 315 points. I'm thinking that we could cut the Great Unclean One, get a second Plague Bear unit in there. We could even, if we wanted to, try to get that is it Sloppy Bowpiper who turns off OBSEC? I don't know if
Yes.
he's needed. He's a little bit expensive, and this list isn't trying to go OBSEC heavy. But
No,
I
it's
think we
not.
could just get, like, for that Great Unclean One, we are dangerously close to 3 more Myphitic Blighthaulers.
That is we're not getting over that line, but like we're
No,
not
we
getting
totally
to
could.
3.
We just cut the one Plague Marine because our power level is no longer a problem.
True. Do we want to go full?
Full Demon Engines?
Do we want to?
I mean, we already
I've
are.
seen where that goes.
It's true.
I'm not against.
We could
it.
go. We could just go more board control. Cut them for more, like, because if you cut them, the power level is not a problem. We break the Plague Marines back up into 2 5-mans, which costs us some points. But at that point, at least we then get like 2 more units as well.
Yeah. The Great Unclean One could just become a unit Plague Bears, unit Nurglings,
So, like, theoretically,
stuff from there.
if we did that, which is we went to 2 5-man Plague Marines and no Great Unclean One, we'd have 240 points left.
Yeah. To be fair, he did say he wanted to leave the Great Unclean One in.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Never mind. Then it's done.
Yeah. So what's the list if you leave the Guo in?
All right, so we're leaving the Guo in, and at that point, the list.
Just for anyone who wants to take the Guo out of this list, you probably cut it for just troops. No. So cut it, get more Plague Bearers, get Nurglings, get like maybe a solo Myphitic Blighthaul or something, stuff to just run around.
Yep. Just stuff that's be durable, fit with the theme.
Yeah.
All right, so where we are right now is we're still the Poxmongers. We have the Malignant Plaguecaster, same as before. We have a single 6-man Plague Marine unit with all the upgrades shown here.
It has to be a 6-man so that the power level works.
Works out,
unfortunately.
which is hilarious. In fast attack, we have a 3-man Myphitic Blighthaller to benefit from that Ironclaw Furnace. 3 solo Plague Burst Crawlers, Mortarion, and then we have a Great Unclean One, Mammon Transfigured, and 10 Plague Bearers. Plague Bears.
Seems pretty good.
That is thick. That is big and chunky.
That is a big
I do like
chunky
how big
list.
and chunky that is.
That list is going to take an entire game to get through for basically any army.
Yeah, that is pretty.
And Plague
big.
Burst Crawlers with Mammon are legitimately good. Like, that is a good combination. Shame about the rest of the list, but it's a good combination.
Mm-hmm. No, seriously is. Okay.
All right,
I think that wraps us up on this, but we got some super chats.
We surely do. We have American Capitalist. With the list you fixed last week, would it make sense to swap one Achilles for a Terrax and a Legionary's brick to ride with Havocs inside?
The Terrax is pretty cool.
That's the drill.
I don't. Yeah, the Terrax is the siege drill that basically drop pods in. The Terrax is, I think it's like T8, so I think it's like a more expensive drop pod, like a more expensive Dreadclaw that deep strikes in, can get guys out, but then is like a lot slower, but is also a lot T8.
And also hits surprisingly hard.
It's better in combat and shooting, but it's like still.
It's got like 5 Meltaguns.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's got like a decent number of attacks in combat at high strength and AP and damage.
No, I think it's like 5 heavy flamers, 1 Meltagun or something like that.
No, I think it's like a ridiculous number of Meltaguns. I'm going to check.
All right, fair enough. American Capitalist has gotten us to look up that beautiful Terrax siege drill. I think that I'd rather have the Achilles. Personally, I feel like you're leaning into that aspect of it.
You got big tonks, move to the center of the board, and just start shooting everything to death. And I think having one
haven't-
big tonk is not as good.
Maybe I haven't re-looked at it in a while, but I feel like I think my memory is that it's like D3 melt shots off of the drill itself, and then like there's a bunch of like either like storm bolters or flamers or something ringing it.
Terrax pattern termite.
It's only like 2.
It has 5-shot melt gun,
Okay, fair enough. Hilarious.
and then it has 2 combi bolters and a termite drill, which you can swap out the combi bolters for 5-point Volkite chargers, 4-shot Volkite gun. So you get 2 of those, which you definitely take.
Interesting. All right, fair enough. How many points is it?
It is 180, 190 with the Volkites.
I would just keep to the.
Toughness 8, 14 wins.
It is tough. I think I would keep to the Land Raider.
I think you keep the Achilles.
Yeah.
The idea is 2 of them, camp the middle of the board, and just start shooting in every direction.
That is what I want him to do. All right. Next up, we have a super chat from Shell. Shell, thank you so much for the support. Hey boys, how would you say a Ymir list could work with 2 sets of 8 Hearthguard as its core? It would of course have some buggies and bikes to supplement their speed, Thunderkin reserves, and 2 calls. So this sounds like it's a no land fort list just on the quantity of other things in there. I do think that no berserks is fine, and you can make a good just shooty Ymir list that just everything shoots hard, and Thunderkin are amazing at that. Thunderkin are one of the big improvements for Votann, and one of the big things that I think they need to include now. I'm not super sold on 2 units of Hearthguard. How do you... neither of us have really played with Votann much, I think.
Yeah, so if you want to make 2 sets of 8 Hearthguard work, that's a different question. I don't think you want to do that in general, because one teleports and the other one just kind of like, strategic reserves probably, or just walks up the board. You can definitely do it. At that point, you want speed. You want the bikes, and you probably want some troops as well, just to run around and hold random objectives. So troops in Sagittars sound really good.
Fully agreed on that.
Bikes sound really good. That's what you want. I don't actually think you need Thunderkin in reserve at that point, although you can include them. I think you mostly just want speed and bodies to hold objectives. So troops in Sagittars and bikes. Yep. So 3x3 bikes, like 4 Sagittars, try and make that work.
I've been really impressed with Thunderkin in the couple games I've played against them.
Okay.
So I don't think you need like a huge investment of them, but like it's only 105 points for just a 3-mana reserves. So like doing that once or twice, I still feel is really good. Okay. I don't think you need a second call. I don't think 2 calls gets much more than 1 call.
That's true.
Yeah, and then I know
that is true. The second Hearthguard can just teleport for a CP.
Yeah.
The Warp Strike just makes it free. Yeah, and that's all right. That's pretty good. I don't think you need 2 calls. I agree with John.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
you take the one with Grudges End, Long List, that whole combo,
that
Teleport
guy,
Crest,
full rerolls. He's the high call, obviously.
Yeah, high call, and you have another piece that can teleport around. It's pretty cool. Yeah. That's what I'd go for. And you just don't take any. Honestly, like my ideal would be like 6 Sagittars and 3x3 bikes, but I don't think you're gonna fit that.
Yeah, 6. I don't think 6 Sagittars fits there. We might have to go a little less, but that's all right. All right, we have another super chat, and this one is from Micah McComb. Micah, hey boys, what changes next month would save T-Suns? For context, because I don't know if Jack knows, they put out the meta watch today, and they basically said, tune in for right after Adepticon when the next balance patch will give some buffs to Death Watch and Thousand Suns because those armies are a little bit underperforming. The most generous way I can say that to those poor armies.
Yeah. Thousand Suns was real good, and then they swiped their legs out from under them and was like, how are you
They
good
were,
now?
Yeah, how are you good without Flamers? It's so funny because, like...
And Armor of Contempt.
What changes would save T-Suns? I think that T-Sun's secondary game is, like, fine. I think it really is just a point/army mechanic problem.
Yeah, there were a lot of armies that needed Armor of Contempt, and they just took them away with no compensation. And I don't want to see them just do the same thing they did with Space Marines, which was a total miss. I wish they just kept Armor of Contempt around, honestly.
Yeah, same.
The fact that they just handed everybody a free Meltagun, free multi-melta, I was just like, here you go, you are now a glass cannon. Don't want that. I do think their units need to be cheaper.
Slightly,
if you're
though,
not going to change their rules.
Yeah.
I do think they need Armor of Contempt to actually survive. But I don't think they're going to give it back.
I'm trying to think of, like, how you make... Because, like, generic Rubricae are... All their upgrades are free except for, like, a 3-point Warp Flamer, and everything else is free, right? And then Terminators... Like, Free warrior wouldn't actually make that much of a difference for
No,
1,000
it
suns.
would be the price of their units. The price of their bodies coming down.
But like my point is like you could actually just give them free warrior without it being as catastrophic as it is in Space Marines.
Yeah, not every
You
unit
just said
has
it.
like
Yeah, everyone
random
gets a warp
multi-alphas.
flamer, and the Terminators don't pay for their cyclones.
Yeah, it's not like people are randomly getting thunder hammers out of nowhere.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like with
The
Space
random
Wolves.
scout sergeants with thunder hammers.
Every
every
time-
time it's shocking. I'm like, ah, and then you miss. It's fine. But
Look, hey, you weren't there when my Devastator Sergeant put 6 hits on Drago as the only surviving member of the squad.
just pasted him.
No,
course not.
Adam made saves, but
yeah. Oh,
but
he did he?
I did drop 6 hits on him with a 3-attack Thunderhammer. It's pretty great.
I do think something around the Cabal point system would be good. Either making bodies cheaper, which by default would give you more Cabal points to play with, or making Cabal points cost cheaper, although that one's kind of annoying to try and work with.
What if just
Or you just update, like, you just start with 4 Cabal points, and then you get whatever on top of that. I think would
yeah,
be,
that would actually probably be the way. It's just your 4 plus X.
yeah, instead of just X.
That, and then I think that you make I think you could make points free on Terminators.
Yeah, it brings
Just
it
that
down
you
like 20 points.
Yeah.
Also, everyone who just randomly doesn't include the missiles or randomly doesn't include the Soul Reapers because, oh, I don't need it. And then I'm like, well, you're AP2. And they're like, ah.
Yeah. I do wonder if, like, T-Suns and Demons is still actually good. It's just that it's no longer the thing, so their win rate just plummeted when the meta dropped.
It was Flamers compensated for weakness in combat. And now they just don't because they don't Overwatch brutally. So, yeah, I know.
What a shame.
Oh, I'm so sad. But yeah, that would probably be it. Just make Cabal points better. Probably lower some costs on rubrics because I don't think they're the best right now.
Yeah.
They're all right.
Yeah, I think rubrics could go cheaper rather than get free warp flamers because free warp flamers is
Kind of silly.
we shouldn't do that.
Also, make some of the extraneous options a
Yeah,
little cheaper.
Yeah, drop rubrics 2 points. Make Terminator Warrior free. Maybe give them 4 plus number of Cabal points instead of just 0 plus number.
Yeah, and then Mutalith Vortex Beasts go
Oh
down.
yeah, that thing goes down to 170 points.
to 170.
Nope,
Is it like 180?
free.
It must be free.
Mutalith!
Every army has 3 free Mutaliths. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Just one free Mutalith Vortex Beast.
Just in the
No,
list. Yeah.
no problem.
No, that sounds great, honestly.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a great way to balance them.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah. All right, let's look.
But also, they're out of stock.
Oh, that would be the biggest crunch of all time.
All right, let's hit up to this second list. So this is from Dan Syker, which is a suspicious name for one of the Emperor's Chosen, because he is in fact running the Emperor's Chosen.
He is.
This list is a Custodes list with some Imperial Knight friends.
Yes.
Ready for it?
Absolutely.
All right, so we have Trajan Valoris, the Warlord. His Warlord traits are his traits.
Yes. Champion of the Imperium and Grand Master Strategy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one
the
of those.
one that I don't take outside of Trajan, so I don't know what it's called.
Shield Captain on bike with all of the good things.
Yep, absolutely every single one.
3 Sagittarium, easy. Then 2 solo Alaris, 2 3-man Custodes Wardens, a single unit of Virtus Praetors, 2 units of Venatari with the bucklers, 1 buckler and 2 lances, and then finally 3 Hunter Beast Helverins.
So I assume those Venatari are there so that 1 buckler stands in cover and tries to tank while the 2 lances do the Lord's work in combat.
Yep. And then if someone shoots you with AP5, just put it on the lance.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want the lances to. Let me look up what Venatari do because they're the only unit here where I don't really know them off the top of my head because I keep looking. Every time I look at them, I go, nah, not good enough, and I move on.
Yeah. Basically, the buckler guy is a 2-up save, and he's like a +1 strength misericordia in combat. It's like strength 6 AP 2 damage 1.
Yeah.
Then it's like a 2-shot pistol of strength 6 AP 2 damage 2.
Yeah, with exploding sixes. I know what the buckler and pistol build do.
Got it. Oh, the lance.
The lance is the only one that I do not, and the
I think it's just like a guardian lance in combat.
I think it's like strength 6. I don't
Oh,
think
right,
it's...
right. Sorry, it's an old guardian lance in combat.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. Everyone who runs them likes them, but I look at their profile and go, not for me, thank you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the internet is being internet today. But I will look them up just so that I know what we're talking about.
Fair.
Looking at the rest of the list, I like Trajan. He is overcosted at this point, but he does
Enough.
that you begrudgingly take him even at 200. I think 200 is too much, but I don't think they're going to drop him, so it's kind of a pointless discussion.
Yeah, Trajan, 160 was too little. So
Yeah, 160 was 100% too little. I think 180 would have been right. 200 just outside of infantry lists is like, oh no.
Yeah. That's okay. I think for this list though, what's interesting is that basically all of the long range shooting is coming out of the 3 Halverns, and Halverns are cheap compared, because like what you're looking at, and I know Jack is going to get into this conversation at some point, so I'll preempt him. At some point, we're going to talk about Halverns versus Caladius.
Yes.
At some point, that's going to happen.
There is a debate there that you can have. For sure.
Halverns are a lot cheaper, because 3 Caladius is going to be what, 630?
615.
615, right, they're 205 on 210. That's 150 points. It's just 150 points cheaper.
Yeah.
Which is basically a unit of Sagittarium.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Basically a unit of Sagittarium. Caladius are amazing. Best unit in the Codex, in my opinion. Not everyone has 3 gigantic hunks of resin from Forge World.
Yeah, they're take a while to acquire.
Yeah. And 3 Helverin is questionably worse, questionably better. So you can take them and I would not be sad about it. I will say that it is nice with grind them down.
That part is really nice.
Yes.
Because that's just like
You gain a CP. Now you do have 5-up CP regen on Trajan. So that does conflict with that a little bit.
Yeah, but still sometimes just getting it is nice.
So the Venatari Lance in melee is strength 6, AP 3, 2 damage, 1 additional attack. And then you do get a Misericordia to make an additional attack.
Okay.
So
what is the lance like in shooting?
In shooting, it is 2 shots, strength 6, AP 2, damage 2.
So it's basically the same as the pistol, just different range, maybe?
No exploding 6 to hit, and 6 in shorter range.
Okay.
Yeah. Tarsus Buckler does not give +1 attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just the Misericordia profile in it.
Yeah. And then you get a Misericordia on top of that. They have 3 attack space, which is not
insane.
Ideal. The spear is probably the best way to run them.
Yeah, 3-up armor feels a little bad, but you're just going to have to tank that on the Thorpe Emblem.
Yeah.
Just believe in the Emperor.
It's rough. I don't love 55 points for a guy with a 3-up armor save. I really don't. Because I want to be in cover with a 1-up armor save and tanking AP2 on 3s, tanking AP1 on 2s.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think that the Venatari are really going to survive this.
I don't really think so either. Let me see if they at least got... I guarantee you they did not get arc weapons on their spear.
Oh, no, they're not.
That would let them double shoot.
No.
But they just haven't. They just haven't.
Yeah, no, those are not arc weapons.
And superior fire patterns is gone. Otherwise, the buckler and pistol would actually be pretty decent
again, yeah.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, I think that so there's a lot of... The Venatari are taking up a lot of points.
They are 330.
Yeah, and then the Virtus Praetors are not cheap, but they're at least doing something.
At least they're
so
reasonable shooting, because that's the profile of the salvo launcher at 255.
Yeah. So with the with where we're at, Trajan and the Shield Captain on bike are awesome and are probably not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We both generically like Sagittarium. They're just good.
They're just good.
I really like the solo Alaris that just deep strike ground become annoying because it gives Custodes a bit more of a behind enemy lines game plan for these situations where you need that, which is not all the time. But I've actually liked the solo Alaris is just like, yeah, this guy's gonna park behind a ruin on objective, and dear God, no, do not send a skirmish unit to try to deal with him.
Please.
Like that's just not going to work.
No, I mean he won't kill the skirmish unit, but he won't die.
He won't die, and he will hit them, and he will sit there being 2 model obsec. And very soon you will be less than 2 models if you just hang around with him.
Yeah, he'll beat you to death. It's pretty great. Yeah, the Venatari are the part that I'm a little unclear on. I will say Castellan's Mark I don't think you need to have in this list. Because you don't really have anything that you need to redeploy too much.
Yeah, because everything here is like small or a Halverin.
Yeah, I mean this list starts at 3, which is probably fine. So then you start with Castellan's Mark and it's okay. Something I would like is to go a little more on the bikes, I think.
You want more on bikes?
I think so. I'd rather have that than Venatari. I don't
Fully
think
agreed
Venatari
on that.
are insane.
So I'm personally in favor of keeping the Halverins here, just because they are cheaper by a margin than Caladius. So I'm kind of, and I like the grind them down angle as well, because that's something that Custodes almost always has to take anyway. Just kind of the way that Custodes secondaries work out. So
Yeah.
I think in this case, so Venatari gone. If we cut the Venatari and put Virtus Praetors in, we're going to be left with a really awkward amount of points.
We are. I don't think that's the answer.
Yeah.
Could the answer just be you cut all the fast attacks and you just go big bricks of stupid dudes on objectives while the Helverins shoot?
It really could be.
It could be. Not even that stupid. Mm-hmm. I will say I don't hate the Venatari. I'll be honest. The Lances, you have to make sure you don't get seen. Mm-hmm. But once you're in combat units that are going to threaten you are probably going to put your invuln anyway. Mm-hmm. And then the Lance is a lot of attacks, you know? Especially if you have the +1 attack banner. But I don't think this list, or really any list, wants the plus attack banner.
Yeah, it's a little awkward to get
I might
there.
include it in a list, but more for, you know,
Hey,
the tee-hee-ha-has than anything else.
So, what do we want to add to this list? Because I think the problem we're running into here is that we're all like, yeah, I don't like this given thing. I don't want like that given thing. But we haven't decided what we do want instead.
So having played with it, having played with Custodes Foot stuff, I think what we want is to make a battle ball with the Helverins behind.
Okay.
And I'm not against a unit of Venatari in this list.
Just as something to go out?
Something to post up in the middle of the battle ball behind a piece of terrain that can go charge. We could take 2, but I think that's going a little far down that rabbit hole, in my opinion.
So you think 1?
I think just one with 3 lances, and you
don't let it get shot.
You just don't let it get shot because it will die, and you just send it into the middle of your, onto your opponent's objectives and kill them.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, I want not too many Sagittarum Guard because I think Helverins cover the low AP the low AP shooting pretty good. But I would say at least 2, maybe 3 units.
Okay. So this was 2K to start, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we're cutting 1 Venatari so far.
Yep. I'll say at least 1 more unit Sagittarum Guard.
Okay. So that's okay. We're net negative 15.
Yep.
Are the bikes staying into this battle ball or?
Not in my mind. In my mind, if you take a shooting package, and that is either the Helverins, the Caladius, or Virtus Praetors, and you pick one.
Okay.
So if you include 6, or you include like 9 Virtus Praetors or 6 Virtus Praetors or something, that's your shooting. That's your like long range good shooting, and that's you pick one. So Helverins or Virtus Praetors, if you pick one, you go like all into it, and then you support it.
Yeah. All right. I can get behind that.
Yeah. I want to take out one of the Alaris Custodians, I think.
Fair enough.
We're going to be running out of points.
That does seem likely. If we have 60 points left, I'll put them back in.
Yeah.
We can cut it for now. So if we cut the 3-man bikes, 1 Venatari, 1 Alaris Custodian, and then add 1 Sagittarum Guard.
Yes.
We're at 1670, 330 points left. You can get a pretty respectable amount of stuff for that.
You sure can. Personally, I think the Custodian Wardens want to become Shield Guard.
Okay. Do you want them both to become Shield Guard?
They can. It's a clean point swap, so I don't think it's the biggest deal if they do. The main reason for that is just having a 1-up save in cover is like just so massive. I really wanted my game against Adam, where my Wardens died to like AP1 and AP2 shooting, and
for sure.
The Shield Guard would not have.
Is there a point where we want them to be larger units as well? And just so that I'm clear, because I frankly I've been running Dreadnoughts for a bit. Is 6-man the point where the strats break, or is at what point do the stratagems get more expensive?
They become more expensive at 4.
I thought one of them got more expensive at 5, and
one of them, the no rerolls, I believe, gets more expensive at 5, and the transhuman gets more expensive at 4.
Okay, so as soon as we make it bigger than a 3-man, it's just bigger than a 3-man.
Yeah. All right. Which what I want in this list, and we basically have the points to finagle it into existence.
Yep.
Is a 6-man Alaris Custodian unit.
Okay, that we are very close to that. Yeah.
Yeah. A 6-man Alaris Custodian, we have a lot of CP. We cut the castle's mark. We start at 4.
It's plenty of CP. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these Alaris Custodes. Do you want me to just add? So we could change Custodian Wardens to Shield Guard, or we could leave them as Wardens.
Leave them as Wardens. I don't think it particularly matters.
Points are the same.
Probably switch one.
I kind of favor the Wardens in a smaller unit. but the shield guard are also baller.
Yeah,
So like
shield
I'm
guard
not
are.
opposed one way or another.
I think I'd probably go 1 and 1, and then whichever one is suited for the opposition is the one you put up front.
I can fully get behind that.
Yeah.
So we have 330 points. And I will notice that 6 Alaris Custodes, if my math is correct, is 360.
Yes.
So I'll go ahead and plug that in, but we are now 30 points over.
Yes, we are. Which is an awkward number.
Sure is. That's just someone gets cut.
Yeah. Could be the Alaris Custodians.
You mean the solo guy?
Yeah.
Oh, then we have no solo Alaris? That makes me sad.
That's fine.
I think I'd rather have a 5 and a 1 than a 6.
No, I think you want the 6. Because the difference between 5 and 6 is you just have an extra guy that strats go on.
Yeah, I know, but then the one guy is in a different spot.
Yeah, and I think it's okay because you're battle balling. It's you're balling the battles.
Yeah, but if you battle ball, you need someone to be on a different objective from the battle ball, ideally behind a wall, and there's no one to take that role right now.
That's true.
Like because we don't have a solo. I mean, like we don't have like a whatever it's called. We don't have a Voidsman at Arms. We don't have a server unit. We don't have anything little besides a Helverin.
That might be the Venatari get cut for 2 squads of Witch Seekers.
If we have more little stuff, it changes the metrics.
Yeah.
But I want something
I get that.
to be this idiot stands behind the wall and doesn't get shot.
Yeah. I mean, if we cut a, even just the Shield Guard unit or a Sagittarium Guard unit, that leaves us with 120 points under. We could just turn that into
3 solo Alaris.
an extra solo Alaris, because we can't include that and the big unit. That's 4 units of Alaris.
5 units of Alaris.
One extra Alaris and a squad of Witch Seekers is 120 points.
Okay. So a single Alaris and a squad of Witch Seekers are all the same points?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the Witch Seekers.
Witch Seekers are really good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Okay, so your pitch was to just cut one of this, because we currently have 300, or we have 450 point units right now.
Yeah. If you cut one of those...
Yeah. Okay, we can cut one of those. We can kind of debate the balance of that later. Then we have 120 points. Yeah, I think at that point I would say 1 solo Alaris and 1 Witch Seeker. Yeah. Or we could even do more Witch Seekers, but because we don't have any support for them, I don't think we need a ton of Witch Seekers.
They're still generically good.
Useful.
They have a lot of flamers that are AP1. They get +1 to wound against demons and psychers.
Yeah.
They're not bad.
The chat is advocating for a solo monkey.
You cannot take a solo monkey. Your Imperial Agents is already taken up.
That's a different detachment.
You can just get a monkey in the list?
Yeah.
Oh.
Monkey.
Monkey?
Monkey.
How much is a monkey?
I think he's like 10 points.
First off, that's not good. Your home field objective is going to have the thinnest of defenses on it.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Now, open up the points. Open up the points. Let's find out.
Oh, brother, where's the Agents of the Imperium? Let's find out how much a solo monkey is. I know a solo henchman is 10. Let's find out how much... God,
can you just include these in a normal detachment?
Yeah, in an ARC detachment, you can just include one.
Oh, I thought you had to include it in an Ox.
No, you can include it in an Ox. You can also put 1 in an ARC zone detachment. Where's the Jokero? Yeah, just 1.
3 wounds.
He's a character.
He is a character. How many points does he?
Find out
Scroll
how
all the way to
much-
the bottom, I think.
No, it's in the Munistorm field right now.
I see.
Monkey.
Even if the Munistorm
20
field
points.
Yep.
Yeah.
20
20
points
for a Jokero or 10 for a solo Acolyte. Yes, the Agent of the Imperium update is so BS. You are all correct.
Wow.
I've avoided really using it because I haven't needed it in any of my armies, but yeah, it's just such a thing that is there.
It's good for Custodes, that's for sure.
It's good for everyone. No one is mad that this is here. Yeah, so that's that.
I still think you just do Witch Seekers and a solo Alaris.
Yeah, again, I really love the idea of let me just cut 10 points of upgrades.
Checks notes, there just aren't any.
Yeah, those don't exist.
And you can cut Shield Guard down to Spear Guard, but no, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. So Jack.
Oh, hi.
Yep. So I think, as much fun as that is, I don't see 10 points to cut. So I
Yeah.
think we're just going with. Well, I guess what we could do. No, it's too many. Never mind, that doesn't work. How much is the the HQ?
50.
You could replace a solo Terminator with the Sisters HQ, the Sister Sons HQ, Oblivion Knight. What's her name? What's the
Knight Centura.
Knight Centura?
Yeah.
With a Knight Centura and a single Acolyte. Just really give up those.
That's so stupid. But
just-
yes. And
I
then,
mean,
then you
like-
take grind.
Yeah, well, it does take you from 2 to 4 characters, but like if people want to take Assassinate, they take Assassinate.
Well, is a solo acolyte a character?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it means he can't be shot.
That's incredible.
It truly is.
That is. It's so
Because like
very not.
yeah, because if you're playing like Death and Zeal or something, he just stands next to a Halverin, and he's lookout third on the objective, doing a thing like pressing like a button if there's an action you have to do for the mission. Just that one 10-point acolyte, just like wee.
I mean, yeah, that's probably worth it. You have 4 CP, so you can give the Knight Centura the Void Sheen Cloak of -1 to hit and -1 to wound.
Yeah, you
Not
could.
bad. Probably if you're including the 6-man Terminator brick, you just don't.
You don't, yeah,
you just
I
don't
think-
do that. So let me sing the praises of the 6-man Terminator brick for a second.
Okay.
Because we talked about whether we could.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the best caddy for every single strat that you can do outside of a 10-man brick that costs 500 points.
Fair enough.
Defensively, we know all the defensive stuff, but offensively, it actually shoots really hard. More so if you ignores cover, which this list does not, because it wants to go a little bit into Imperial Knights and stuff like that. But, a lot of the time if you have a lot of infantry, Salvus is just a thing you're going to take, and then you're going to use it at some point. Double shoot the spears, regular shoot the blast gauntlets that are AP3. You can switch them into the Dreadhost for +1 AP on all their guns if they're within 9 inches of you, and that's a lot of shots with Trajan shooting. Actually, like legitimately, that's a lot of shots.
That's a lot of hits.
A lot of hits and a lot of wounds. And it's AP1, it goes to AP2, 2 damage. Then they get into combat. It's a lot of attacks. Defensively, they're very hard to deal with. You can switch them over to Shadow Keepers for a -1 attack or things like that. It's just a really good unit to bully the center of the board and very difficult to get rid of. For sure. Big fan of that. I played it and it was quite nice.
Okay. Well, I think I'm happy with that as where the list finishes.
So where are we at with it?
So where we ended, I think, was Trajan and the Shield Captain exactly as they are.
Well, I think the Shield Captain's losing Castle and Smart.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Then we have a solo Knight Centura, a solo Inquisitorial Acolyte. Cool.
So silly.
We have 3 150-point units. I think we go 2 Sagittarium, 1 Shield Guard.
No, I think we have 4 because we have 2 Sagittarium, 1 Shield Guard, 1 Warden.
Cut 1 to fit all of the
Oh, to fit all the
stuff.
nonsense. Yeah.
So it's 450.
So it can be probably 1 Sagittarium Guard, 1 Shield Guard, 1 Warden squad.
Yeah. Yeah, any ratio, that's really good. Then we have a 360-point Alaris Custodian unit, 1 solo Alaris Custodian. We have 1 165-point unit of Venatari, and then 465 points of Helverins. Oh, there was a second Alaris Custodian in there.
I think there's a Witch Seekers, but it's the same point.
Oh, or Witch Seeker. Yeah, it was a Witch Seeker.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have a whole lot of one-off units, which is kind of cool.
You got the big Terminator brick.
You got Big Terminator brick.
This actually does sound like a really good list.
It does.
Yeah.
Right?
I think this is really solid. Okay. Well, that's the Emperor's Chosen. We did have a chat real quick from NYC Tabletop. Thank you so much, NYC. Hey, Jack, question on PB. I think this is Prescient Brethren.
Or Poxbringers.
Or that. Warlord trait Divination.
Oh, no, that's
If
Prescient
it already
Brethren.
costs a CP to get, and it takes at least 2 successful casts to get the CP back, is it worth it?
I like Divination.
Yeah, because it's 1 to get, 1 cast gets it back, 2 is now a tangible benefit.
Yeah.
3 is gravy.
Yes. So turn 1, not too much is going to happen. That's where you're basically just like banking it. And then turn 2 on, hopefully you get the CP. You're probably going to get it 3 to 4 times over the course of the game.
Yeah, you'll
so
fill it
over
at
the
least once.
course of the game, you're going to get 2 to 3 extra CP. That feels pretty worth it for a Warlord trade slot.
Fully agreed.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. It's always annoying when they're just like, oops, plus 3 CP, because like, oops, here's 1 for your turn, here's 1 for my turn, here's 1 for a spell. I'm like, you just went from 0 to 3 before your shooting phase. Nice.
Yeah.
Hate when that happens.
Well, I mean, I understand it's a huge feels bad when you spend 1 CP for it, start running tight on CP, and just don't get the spell off.
Yeah.
But, that's life sometimes.
Sometimes that's life. All right, you ready to hit this last list?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So here we have Sebastian giving us a House Tyrannus Arcs of Omen detachment. This one's interesting. We've got Freeblade Armiger Helverins. They're Hunters of Beasts, blessed with one having blessed by the Saxons, the other having the Bastard Helm. Then we have an Armiger Warglaive, also Freeblade. Interesting. With Strike and Shield and 3 Meltaguns. And then we have a Knight Crusader, who is a Princeps with a Meltagun and Iron Bulwark. And finally, we have a Knight Crusader with Master Tactician, Endless Fury, Machine Focus, Meltagun, Storm Spear Rocket Pod, and the Knight of Mars. So there are 2 Freeblades in this House Tyrannus detachment, which technically I think is legal. I believe that the rules for Freeblades are that 1 Freeblade unit per like in the army gets Agent of the Imperium.
Yeah.
And if you take more than that in the army, it doesn't get Agents of the Imperium.
Right.
Which means that we are now at the point where these Tyrannus Knights aren't getting their trait.
Unfortunate.
And I don't think that's worth it.
No. I think the Strike and Shield Warglaives want to become Tyrannus Warglaives.
I think it's just better than being Strike and Shield.
Yeah.
Honestly. Strike and Shield is good. But like you're losing plus 1 wound and a 6 of Feel No Pain to get Strike and Shield. I don't think that's worth it in this context.
Yeah, especially since you lose it on the Crusaders as well, plus 2 wounds and a 6 of Feel No Pain, which is functionally quite a few wounds. I think you take that there, and then I start to look at whether I want 2 Crusaders.
Yeah, 2 Crusaders is a significant investment. I am of the opinion that you don't. I think that that's too many points. I think you can go double Big Knight. I just don't think you want them both to be Crusaders. Because then also you have no diversity of the buffs that you're handing out.
Yeah, I mean, plus 1 Ballistic Skill is great, but what you can do is you can cut the Princeps and turn him into a Paladin.
Yes.
And you get a bunch of points back.
To be clear, do you mean literally cutting Princeps or cutting the Crusader for a Paladin and keeping him as a Princeps?
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So Knight Crusader goes away, Knight Paladin comes in, becomes Princeps with the same loadout, basically, probably doesn't have the belt gun. And you save quite a few points. The goal here is to get a 7th Armiger.
Yes, that is. I actually played a game in the Worm recently where I had a Castellan, a Big Knight, and 6 Armigers. 6 Armigers, I don't know, I can't explain it. 6 Armigers felt wrong. I did not have enough stuff on the table. I've played 2-7 before and it's been fine. 6 for some reason was the break point where I just wasn't able to do all the things I wanted to do.
Yes.
And I felt it.
So
felt it badly.
Let's find out how many points 7 are, right?
So let me make this real simple. If you go from a Crusader to a Paladin, you are saving 60 points.
Okay.
We also then have like we have a bunch of little things that could be cut. Was this 2K on the dot?
I believe so, but it's easy enough to do the
It is
do the
2K
math.
on the dot. Perfect. Just did the math. So we are, let's say we're cutting 60 points, 65 points by going from a Crusader with a random Meltagun to a Paladin. Now we are going to cut the 3 Meltaguns off the Warglaives because those are nice, but those are the last thing I add.
Right.
That's 1920, which means if we want another Warglaive, that's 145 minimum. That means we are minimum cutting 65 points to get a 7th Armiger in. My memory of us doing the math for this before is that the only way to get the extra Armiger in is to cut the Crusader down to an Errant.
Yes, because I remember running that list.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Yeah, because you can cut the Meltagun and the Storm Spear Rocket Pod, and then you either have to cut Master Tactician, at which point only one of your 2 Big Knights has a points upgrade on it.
Which can be fine.
Can be fine. Or you cut the Crusader to an Errant and keep the top Rocket Pod and keep Master Tactician, and then you have a couple random points to spend.
Yeah. I think what you can do is you cut it down to an Errant and you give him the indirect missile, Judgment.
Yep.
And you give him Knight of Mars, and then you kind of do more of your damage by committee, but when you need to, you can really rip mortal wounds out of that that Errant, because every 6 is going to be 8 Gorillion mortals.
I am fully in favor of that. I think that is absolutely the best way to run double Tyrannus Knights. I just don't think that you need the raw I kill you in line of sight of 2 Crusaders and getting another body in there and then some different buffs to throw around, I think is worth it.
Yeah.
Like I think the list already shoots people who stand in front of it in line of sight hard enough. And I think we can go a little bit lighter on that, a little higher on mission play, options, bodies.
How many points is a double flamer Moirax?
155, I think.
Okay.
It's only 10 points more. So like we can look at it's just 10 points to replace an Armiger with or Warglaive with that essentially, which is not a bad option.
No, I like that.
So
They're really good right now, especially into demons.
yeah, I actually don't think they're good right now. Because they are good into demons, but Tyranids are out of the meta. Random Flamers no longer in every list, and they literally do not affect Imperial Guard and Space Marines.
Well, that's where you advance and charge them and get them with those claws.
The claws are not good in combat. The claws are very bad.
I know. I mean, you can hurt vehicles pretty decently, but sometimes it's swingy.
You hit your 4 attacks hitting on 4s.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not great. If you're advancing and charging, you're not really taking rerolls. But anyways, let's so what I think we want to do is we're in agreement. We want to cut to an errant from the Second Crusader.
I think so. I mean, it sucks, right? You want the Crusader, but there's.
I've
done the math 50 billion times, and it's you do not get a Paladin plus an errant.
Yeah.
Or you do not get Paladin plus a Crusader.
Not with 7.
No, and 6 I think is giving up way too much board space.
So we're at 2065 right now, and the math on what I'm about to do may surprise you.
Is it Castellan of some kind?
It's not.
Okay, what is it?
It's real simple. It's 60 points less than a Crusader to have an errant. And it's 5 points less to have a stubborn instead of a meltagun. And then you're 2,000 points on the dot.
I've run exactly point for point that list.
Yes.
And it was good.
And it was very good. I have a strong opinion on this.
What's your strong opinion?
That if the points just lay themselves out that conveniently for you,
that's what you play.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
I think by cutting both Crusaders to a Paladin Errant, the Errant stays the Master Tactician, the Paladin stays the Princeps, and we explain a little bit why in a second. And then you cut the 5 Meltaguns that were just tacked on, which Meltaguns are good, but they're definitely a nice points filler, not a mandatory thing.
Yeah, they're not so good that you want to make your list illegal for them.
Then we have exactly 145 points left, which is exactly one more Warglaive slapping in.
It does feel nice.
It does sound real nice.
Yeah, again, I also want like a Megara or something, but points. Megara is still real expensive, right?
Yeah, Megara is
500.
It's 500 and I think it's 500 base. Yeah,
yeah,
it's pricey. So once we get to that point, because I think we're doing that like points upgrades wise, we're keeping Princeps on the Knight Crusader. What Princeps does is it lets the Knight Crusader, who is now a Paladin, order the other big boy, who's now an Errant, to receive his buff. So the Errant now gets reroll 1s to hit and reroll 1s to win.
Does not get -1 damage.
Does not get -1 damage.
Does not get -1 damage. You must be an Armiger to receive -1 damage.
And what the Master Tactician does is once per game. So the Master Tactician gets an extra trait, which is Machine Focus, which gets you a free roll on his wound roll or damage once per turn, which is awesome because now that Knight Crusader, which again is now an Errant, so I keep reading it, the Errant is now, its Meltagun is reroll 1s to hit, reroll 1s to wound, 1 free roll to wound or damage. So you get a lot of free rerolls on that at this point.
And you get a free reroll to hit or wound.
If you do Laylo the Tyrant.
If you do Laylo the Tyrant.
Which in this build you probably do.
Yeah, there's enough Meltagons.
So that's all awesome. And once per game with Master Tactician, a unit who is benefiting from a Bondsman ability gets the Mortal Wound strat for free.
Yep.
So 3 CP just is like, oops, it's free now. Every 6 is immortal. And then with the Knight of Mars, you can flip a dice to a 6. And with Laylo the Tyrant, once you get Virtuous, you flip a dice to a 6. And then it's like, oh, every 6 to wound is D6 plus 4 immortals. Oh no, I have so many rerolls. Oh no, I flipped these 2 1s to 6s after I didn't like the reroll.
I have full to deaded a Lord of Skulls.
With just an Errant
an Errant going zzz, poof, and doing like 32 mortals to it.
Yeah. It just happens like that sometimes.
Yeah, it just does. Because with that amount of rerolls, you're gonna roll a 6 in there, and then you flip 2 other ones to a 6, and suddenly that's 3d6 plus 12.
And if you happen to get like 2 6s, it's like, oh, 4d6 plus 8. Hilarious.
No. 4d6 plus 16.
Oh, right, plus 16. Never mind. Of course.
Yeah, and then you have Judgment so you can also put at least 2 of those out of line of sight if you need to. Because it fires out of line of sight and it's D3 plus 3, so
beautiful.
You can use your flip dice to 6s to make those 6s, and suddenly you do 2d3 plus 6 mortals to something out of line of sight if necessary.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty darn
It's
good.
pretty good. You definitely take judgment to get something shooting out of line of sight. It's real good.
And that replaces the Storm Spear Rocket Pod, which we already have, so the points work out. And we are already cutting the Crusader, so we couldn't take Endless Fury anyway, because it's now an errant. The one other thing I want to do here is we have 4 Warglaives. I think we just do a unit of... frankly, the Halverins are going to go into an Ox. And that means that I think that the Warglaives are all solo. Just one Warglaive, one Warglaive, so we have a lot of deployment options.
Yeah.
And then, because we can take 6 Lord of War slots...
Well, we have 4 Warglaives, remember.
Okay, then it's 1-1-2.
Yeah.
Because we're all 3.
Yeah.
Then, what I think we actually do is we change the Halverins slightly. I think 2 of them are Hunters of Beasts, not 3. Because they don't get the buffs. Because they're free blades, they don't get any of the buffs from the Big Knights.
So you think you have one with Bastard's Helm who gets the +1 to wound, and then he hands it off to a different
another friend,
one who gets -1 damage, +1 to wound. And then the other one will get the reroll ones when necessary.
Exactly. And that other one will have Blessed by the Sacrosanct for 6s to wound or a mortal wound. Because on the off turns, where you aren't making it free for the errant to do damage, I think you want to spend 2 CP for that guy to do...
Oh, 6s to wound or 4 mortals?
Yeah.
That seems pretty
just
good.
on any turn where... And it's not just because the errant... Every time you can spend it on the errant, you're going to. Even for 3 CP.
You also get a ludicrous amount of CP in Knights.
You do.
Because... you get an extra one at the beginning of every battle round.
Of your command phase.
Yeah. Well, either way, once a battle round. I'm unclear on the exact timing, but once a battle round. And because it's given to you as the CP that you get from the start of your turn, you can also gain an extra CP from something else.
Like grind them down.
So all of a sudden, anytime you kill anything with... So you're going to get 4 CP a battle round.
If an armorer gets a kill, you get 4 CP a battle round. It's awesome.
So that means 2 CP to drop mortals on your opponent, 3 CP to drop mortals on your opponent. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, actually.
And the biggest thing, it's not that the Halverin is like, oh, I'll just do it on the one turn where it's not free. What I really want is that I want it to come from 2 different directions. Because the first time, either at some point in pregame, your opponent's going to realize what this errant does. Or the errant will do its thing once, and then your opponent will be like, oh my god, never again.
They have 6 CP. They can do this next turn.
Yeah. So as soon as that happens, I think you need the other Halverin to be poking from a different angle, so that when the errant doesn't have a good target to just face roll off the planet, you can spend the 2 CP somewhere else and still do good damage from another angle.
Yeah. The best thing is when you're facing down like a 10-man Terminator unit, and you just delete the whole thing with mortal wounds.
Yeah, a Deathwing Terminator unit might just die to this.
From full to dead.
It could happen.
Yeah, I've done more mortal wounds than that with 1 shooting activation.
Yeah.
And you don't really need to do that, because if you kill 8, like, we're good here.
So let's break down where this list ended up.
Yes.
All right, so a super heavy auxiliary of 2 Halverins with Freeblade Hunter of Beasts. One of them has the Bastard's Helm.
Yeah.
Then we have the Tyrannus detachment with 1 Halverin with Blessed by the Sacrosanct. Every armager in the list has a stubber, for the record. Then we have 4 Warglaives, a 2, a 1, and 1. They're all Tyrannus. They're not Freeblades. We have a Knight Paladin. He is Princeps. He is the Warlord. He has Ion Bulwark.
Yeah. You could even give him Heart of Ion.
You could give him Heart of Ion. Let's take a second to look at the CP. We're starting at 2 right now.
Yeah.
We could give him Heart of Ion or Helm Dominatus. I wouldn't be mad either way.
I think I legitimately want Heart of Ion on him.
You think that's just... Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, just +1... What is it? +1 move, +1 to wound, and...
+1 to move, +1 advance, +1 charge, and if he, like, overcharges...
If he overcharges his gun, it's +1 to wound on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And having that on the battle cannon, pretty solid.
Pretty respectable, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we can toss the relic on him. Then we have a Knight Errant with Master Tactician, Machine Focus, a Stubber, not a Meltagun, a Storm Sphere Rocket Pod, Knight of Mars, and Judgment.
Yes.
And that is 2K on the dot.
Yeah, that sounds pretty
pretty
tasty.
good. I like it a lot. All right. Well, I think we fixed the lists.
I think we fixed all of the lists. Every list in line of sight.
Didn't even forget the super chats this time. So there we go.
Very proud of us.
I always am. So I think that wraps us up for today. I saw some people asking in the chat, how do I get my list fixed? In case you didn't see the answers in the chat, and thank you to everyone who answered, here's how you fix your list. You become a member of the Art of War. either through this YouTube channel, which if you're going to do that, make sure you hit the like button on the way down. And or you can go to our website, theartofwar40k.com, and become a member of the War Room there. Either way, by becoming a member, you get access to more high-quality content from top-level players like myself, Jack Arpster, Richard Siegler, Nick Nadavati, many, many more. And that's going to help you become better at the game and get you access to the Art of War Discord. It's a wonderful global community with a lot of different categories, one of which is Fix My List. And spoiler alert, that's where you put your lists if you want them to get fixed. We pull 3 lists from there every week. And so anything that's interesting, anything that we think would be good to talk about, that's what we pull.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.